Hello everybody, my name's Ardendris, and welcome back to All the Mods 10. Last time, we created a little draconic chaos bee, so that's cute. We're gonna go name that thing, because I was suggested a name for it. But right now I am in a test world. I'll go over this in a moment. So yeah, last time we have a little chaos bee friend, and I thought I had a stable draconic reactor. I was working on it, thought it had it stabled, and it went into meltdown. Then I built another one using the rest of our resources, and I thought I had it stable. And then it went into meltdown again. Yeah, this thing is a lot harder to get working than I thought it was. I'm struggling to get this thing working this whole time. So that's about all we did last time. I think we also made some infused dragon breath, which we're going to need for a couple pieces of the ATM star. So that was basically it. Anyways, between episodes, I'm in a test world. I actually have a stable draconic reactor now. Too bad I had to do it in creative mode, and I don't have the resources to repeat this over in the main world. So, basically, using some guides online and some, just like trial and error, I have it working. It has an infinite creative power source here going in, and then an infinite power source outward to hold it. I would love if I had a bit more storage, like I wish this thing filled up and told you the amount actually in it, but basically this just nulls everything that goes in. So, at this point, don't hit that switch. Hitting that switch is a bad idea. Anyways, apparently you don't actually need switches. You can just say redstone signal low, and as without a redstone signal, we'll still pump out this much. So, this reactor is flowing in 570,000 RF. That is the baseline it wants to hit. For some reason, it seems to stabilize at 573. It's slightly more. Like, this number is also supposed to be stabilized at 2 million, and as at that weird 322 instead. Actually, is this 573222 out of curiosity? I don't actually know. I wasn't paying that much attention. But this has been running for a little bit. You can see fuel conversions up to 0.42%. Energy saturation with the current values is stable at like 67% and a half. And the containment field is currently stable at 22%. Core temp's currently stable there. No, it's not even 3222. I'm not entirely sure why the weird numbers. But basically, the secrets I was missing to this are slow incremental increases once you let everything stabilize. So, for instance, this is currently stable 22, 67. These numbers are all stable, currently generating almost 4 times as much as it's taking out. So, I can go ahead and boost the output to 2.2 million. So, the containment field will rapidly fall as generation rate increases up to its maximum. So, energy saturation, shield will both fall. Generation will eventually hit the new 2.2 million. And thus, the closer this gets, this will start ramping up high enough to boost us to that rate, and then eventually this will start coming down while this continues on its climb. This is almost stabilized. This is slowly making its way back down to that 573. So we can see containment field has now fallen to like 15. This is still sitting at 64. So relatively stable. And we're now producing 10% extra energy than we were a second ago without putting any more energy into the system. This should stabilize in just a moment. Interesting. I was expecting that to actually start boosting shield production, but it's... Come on, usually by this point, this number would start going up again. Maybe I've pushed it too far, and this won't upgrade shields until I add more fuel in, or more power in. Oh wait, no, you can see it. It is stabilized, containment field's going back up. Although that 10% increase in power output made it so that it's 6% weaker on the shield. I could probably boost this thing to 2.4 million right now, but that would be relatively dangerous and this might go out. Before I push it any further, I need to make like slight adjustments here to push this up to 600,000. That will severely boost up the containment field strength. This should probably be pushed back up to 22, maybe? It's not looking like it's going to make as big of a difference as I thought it was going to. But if I wanted to, I could also push this up to like 650. That would boost it to like 30 and then bring it back down to stabilize like at 25. But field input will probably hit like that. But cool, this is how this system works. Basically, let it run with high shield, even if it gets like super high energy saturation, just so you have it set up. And then increase generation rate to match it in order to get like a stable baseline. And then once it's stable there, generation goes up, energy saturation and shield go down, and you'll just keep doing small adjustments and letting it stabilize. That's what I was missing. Like, I was close to stabilization. Like, let's say I wanted to push this at 2.3, I would see that it was relatively stable at like 2.5, and then I'd boost this up to 2.4 instead. Like, I wasn't properly letting things stabilize, like core temp and all these stats, before I was pushing ahead. So I think I have figured it out. I just need to get the resources in the actual world, and I should be able to get a relatively good reactor going. Like, it's almost 4 times generation. You're taking out almost 4 times more than you're putting in. It's not quite, it's like 3.5 times roughly, but it's still really good if you can get it working right. And then SAS and this stuff are relatively safe. It should make things a little bit safer, like you're leaving that on. So, cool. And then containment field will slowly increase over time. It's not very fast, but it basically stabilizes at a number and then will increase from there. And then this one is also very slowly increasing, but not by much. Although, let's try pushing this to 2.5 million. I think I'll have enough containment field and all that stuff. I just want to see the limits of what I've created here. Like, is this still a stable thing? 10% containment field is dangerous, but still running properly. Apparently you want to be somewhere between like 10 and 20 for like the most efficient thing possible. And energy saturation doesn't really matter too much where it is, as long as it's not 99 or 0. But this is stabilized here. Core temp's probably going to stabilize at 3,400. Or wait, no, probably only 3,300. I thought it was going up a bit faster than that. Containment field is going to stabilize at like 8 point something, so I would probably want to boost the input to like 610 to make up for it a bit, just to keep it stable. So, I actually have it! Whenever we get a chaos shard, a large chaos shard or whatever we need, I don't remember exactly what we're missing at this point, I'll actually be able to get this thing stable and running and producing energy, which will be very nice. But, yep, I have this test world, I can always just pull this back up. But I finally have it, which is very exciting. Anyways, back to the real world real quick. I think I might be doing what I've been doing recently, where I record half of it tonight and half of it tomorrow, because I didn't really know what else we're getting up for today. Basically just waiting until we can remake this thing, I think, in the main world. Okay, so I'm back. It took way longer to actually boot up this world than expected, and then I got distracted by something, so it's been a little bit. Anyways, we do now have 10 tiny fragments, which is 1 more small fragment, which 9 of these will get 1 large fragment, and then 9 of those will get a big fragment, which we're gonna need. You need so many of these things. I'm gonna need multiple draconic bees so that I can't get multiple chaos bees right now, which means I have to go kill another draconic guardian to get actually those, unless I want to wait like 20 hours. Anyways, let's go sleep so that our little chaos bee can actually come out to work. And we do have a name here that was suggested by Lane. It's Halloween. Special advancements during Halloween. Hold on. Halloween. Is there a search option here? I don't think so. I have no idea what that's about. It said multiple, which makes me think there might be more in here, but I have no idea what mod they'd even be attached to. Special events. Oh, Halloween. Oh, you traded Halloween lollipops for Essence of Undeath with a Grave Guardian. You traded a Halloween lollipop for the Grave Guardian. What's a Grave Guardian and how do we get lollipops? Those are 2 important things I have no idea what to do with. I guess I'll research it. Although we do also have a bunch of tombstone little lore bits to read, because We keep getting these things randomly when we kill mobs, and we did read the first two before. Anyways, let's go in here real quick, and this is going to the Chaos Bee, specifically the Chaos Bee, because the last time we made it, I kept trying to give it a high productivity candy, and it just kept not leaving the hive for some reason. I really wish I could use that thing, but I don't even have enough Chaos Shards with that, so it wouldn't work anyways. And of course, the Chaos Bee is just not coming out of the hive again. This is why it's getting named Temper Tantrum, because it just will not leave the hive whenever I try to give it something. It's just like it just as soon as I go in there to give it something, it will just hide in the hive again for some reason. So that will be named eventually. Um, do we want to read some of these lore bits? What are we getting up to? Draconic Evolution, we're basically done with it. It's just waiting until we can get more Chaos Shards and recreate the thing. This Infused Dragon's Breath, thanks for the free Dragon's Head, is going to be used for the Dragon Soul, which I guess we just need to do some occultism rituals for, so it might be worth it to get back into that, or look at the tree thing. Um, let's see, the Dimensional Seed, we have the miniature exit portal, but we still need the other two. Um, there's so many options. There's so much still left to do. Mechanism, we're still waiting on that. I can probably run that again, but oh yeah, no, I can't because we keep running out of power. So I need to make a bunch of efficiency things to start using less power, or wait until we actually get the draconic reactor going in order to do that. The Chaos Bee is still one of the only ones to not come out of. Where is it? Did it move hives? Where did it go? Where, where, is that you? Oh, it's right here, the Chaos Bee. Your name is Temper Tantrum. Also, Temper Tantrum, let's specifically give you a Geos to make sure nothing bad happens to you. Temper Tantrum. Come on. There we go. Geos added Temper Tantrum. Cool. You're now named. You should be living here and keep doing the block upgrade. I should make these for all of them. So let's actually save that. And in fact, I think I do have enough draconic chunks to put one of those in everything. I'll do that later on. There's just a couple of, like, a lot of back and forth getting everything going. So, I really know. I guess I have a lot of these things taking up space, so I might as well read them and see if I can't figure out some cool draconic rituals of some sort. I also do have these ritual flutes, and these are a bunch of the Twilight Forest mobs that we captured. I guess you can just hang out in this one. This thing was more meant for, like, the aquatic stuff, but I guess you can go in there. Also, all of the things I captured besides the hippocampuses all despawned, including that dolphin, so that's a little bit sad. We'll have to come up with a different way to fill this thing with animals. Either that or just get a bunch of name tags and put them on everything. Anyways, lore bits, why not? So, Rites of Silent Bond, Elira's Diary. There's 4 parts of Elira's Diary, the Ritual Flute. The Watchers did not always need words. Their flutes guided the rituals where only memory could sing. Right-click to play a melody. Sure, we'll do that in a moment. We did read these before we ended up taking the last break for Tensura Dungeon, so, do I want to reread all of these? They're very long. Um, sure, why not? We don't have anything better to do, really. Rite of Silent Bond, Part 1, The First Echoes. Dated the 13th Cella number, Year 12 of the Withheld Breath Cycle, Preserved Archive, Forgotten Scriptorium, Sealed Wing. Before names were forbidden, some still dared to speak to graves. They did not seek life. They wanted to listen to the memory that stone refused to forget. They were not yet called necromancers. The text referred to them as the Echo Bearers, solitary marginal figures who, for forgotten reasons, lingered near graves longer than those who mourned. Some carried a broken ankh, found or stolen. Others gathered grave dust, mixing it with ink or blood to draw circles on bare stone. 23rd of Blade Silence, year 14th of the Withheld Breath Cycle. 2 years later in a different season. 2 years... I meant to say month. I could not tell you the season here. I placed my palm on the faded slab. A vibration coursed through me. The cold had thickened. A voice, not a sound, but a suspended thought, whispered to me, "You are not the one I awaited, but I remember anyways." These first echoes were not summoned. They came to those who knew how to remain silent. The watchers. They still watched, but they said nothing. Year 18, so 4 years later, in Cindershade, 5th, a man carved 7 circles around a bare grave. He left no name, no offering, no word. He sat and waited. Legend says the stone bled, and a faceless breath rose, then vanished into his parted mouth. His name was erased from all known archives. But the ground where he sat still refuses to grow even a blade of grass. They did not want to command the dead. They wanted the dead to hear that they were remembered. Gradually, fragments of knowledge began to circulate. Words, gestures, objects shaped in the shadows. Engraved stones that trembled when certain names were spoken. Black jars where ashes and poems were slipped. Breath memories, condensed into smooth pebbles, sealed with bone wax. 31st of Vigil Shadow, year 20, so we keep jumping a couple years at a time. Those who want to see the dead walking are blind. I want to hear them when they no longer speak, when they were not yet dangerous. But the world has begun to feel their chill, and in the deepest layers of ancient tombs, some awakened breaths, left unguarded, were already waiting to be awakened again. They say some would kneel, motionless, near a decorative grave, and no wind, no shadow would dare disturb their presence again. So, the Tombstone mod, I don't really know much about how it works. I know it has a bunch of it has a lot of cool stuff. I just don't know how to do most of it. Like, you can build all these different graves with the various reasons to, and then you can pray and get magic going. And then it has all these tablets of various uses and scrolls for basically everything. I thought the Enderbee was one of the ancients, or the Witherbee for a moment. But yeah, Tombstone has a lot of cool stuff in it. I just don't know how to access most of it. These rare magic gemstones allow to invoke a Grave Guardian, Ritual Flute, Smoke Ball, Seeker's Rod, guiding you to place holding secret knowledge. I really don't know how to get most of these things, but I really want to. Receptacle of Familiars. Do I want to look up an actual guide for this instead? Because I don't believe Tombstones has anything in here. Like, there's cool magic bits attached to it, but there's no real teachings of how to do it. I'm just hoping the lore bits actually hide game mechanics. Because there's probably enough in there so that it should deserve at least a small magic thing. So, part 2. The Rites of Silent Bond, the Restrained Tongues. The 8th of Morphos, year 28 of the Withheld Breath cycle, so it's been a while, and this is part of the Black Codex. All that is spoken may be forgotten, but that which is written with the breath of death of the dead, never. The echo bearers became scribes. They understood that awakened breaths did not respond only to prayers, but also to shapes, lines, syllables inscribed in dust. Circles of study emerged, clandestine, deep in collapsed crypts or abandoned cellars. They called them knots of memory. 11th of Morphos, year 28. So 3 days later, that's the shortest jump yet, there, one Valdrin Erraid engraved his own name into stone using grave dust mixed with his blood. It is said the wall wept. 3 days later, a chill wind lingered around the glyph. It repeated the names backwards endlessly. The glyphs grew more complex. Some summoned gentle memories, others awakened pains so old even the headstones trembled. And with this writing came pride. Some echo bearers forged bound scrolls, containing entire rituals. They tied them to urns, to stones, to the recently dead, and thus they created the first soul receptacles. Not to protect, but to recall, to bind. Silence, if transcribed, becomes a vow. A vow, if misread, becomes a scream. Fragment of a fragment, written half dead. The second of Blade Root, 3 years later, in the year 31, a schism arose. Some refused to inscribe these tongues, others saw in them the key to eternal memory. Thus came the time of the restrained engravers, necroscribe monks who bore their glyphs tattooed beneath the skin. They no longer spoke, they engraved themselves. The watchers, it is said they turned away. But in a ruined temple of Sarlgar, a perfect circle appeared at dawn, drawn into frozen ash. And at its center, a word was written, without ink. Too much. That is 2 words, not 1 word. And still they continued. Language was no longer a tool. It became power, a bond, a possession. And the graves began to respond, even when they were not called. Grave dust was not just residue. It bound the one who bore it to memories still sensitive, even silent. So cool. That's the end of, like, the lore bits we saw. And basically all this is, like, builds up into necromancy of some sort, and, like, the memories of the dead and using them for power and all that stuff. So in theory, it's pretty cool. And this series was more based on, like, summoner and teams and whatnot. So an army of the undead sounds pretty cool to me. Anyways, part 3. I have these in the wrong order. Rite of Silent Bond, part 3. The Awakened Graves. Dated the 26th Hollow-Grief, year 38 of the Withheld Breath Cycle. Sealed Extract, Forbidden Section, Iron Reliquary, Collapsed Wing of the Forgotten Scriptorium. There came a time when graves were no longer just places of remembrance. They became thresholds, and those who waited beyond began to walk toward me. Began to walk toward the here. Memory, when summoned too often, becomes distorted, and what the echo bearers awakened was no longer quite what had been lost. Some breaths returned without form or name, swollen with fragments of other deaths. Disturbed, stitched together with ancient noises. They were called the Broken Awakened. They no longer answered prayers. They slipped into places where glyphs were unfinished, where seals were poorly placed. Entire graves were found melted from within. No bones, only dense, salty wind. 14th of Holograph, year 37. First time we go back in time. Tomb of Karal. The slab had moved on its own. Beneath it a voice spoke, but it did not come from the hole, it came from within me. The restrained engravers chained glyphs together. The more they wrote, the more the language twisted. Circles closed in on themselves. Names rewrote themselves backwards. It was during that time that the screaming graves appeared. Places where the trapped breath had no memory left to share. Only the pain of being summoned too often. The scream in these places was not a voice. It was a deep vibration in the ground, as if the earth itself refused to hold what had been bound to it. Ninth of Echo Peak, year 39, so another year later. So, if you summon the memories of a dead for too often, they become corrupted and whatnot. Good to know. That might actually be an important lore bit, because I did see something about corruption on one of the items. An anonymous scribe forged a reversed key from a shard of broken ankh and a soul-engraved rune. He attempted to reopen what no longer wished to speak. He was found dead, lips sealed naturally, his headstone melted beneath him. They thought they could bind the dead, but it was they who were bound. Memorial of Charn, vanished guardian. The Watchers. Some claim they saw them turn their heads for the first time. Others, more lucid, noted that from that point on, some graves no longer echoed. No breath, no trace, nothing. Memory, damaged, was left to itself, and the broken awakened remained. An old scribe once said, "There are graves that will recognize you, if you do not look at them and simply remain still. Then the dead will look away, thinking you came from them." Okay. Hmm. Obviously, I'm still not grasping all of what's going on. This is some sort of treatise and some sort of diary upon, like, the history of necromancy is what it feels like. And the Rite of Silent Bond, Part 4, Those the Watchers Regretted. Of curiosity, before we read too much, how long is this one? Yeah, that one's fairly long. It seems like all of them have, like, 3 purple segments of varying lengths. The 17th Final Ember. A year 44 of the Withheld Breath Cycle, partially erased fragment, sealed room of the White Annex, forgotten scriptorium. Sometimes we must forget those who were allowed to listen for too long. Even stones, if whispered too endlessly, can become dangerous. This was the end of bound words. Those who had engraved their names into stone began to forget their own identity. The glyphs changed by themselves. Inks faded before they could dry. Grave dust no longer responded. Silence, once obedient, turned hostile. It seems like our research into necromancy here is ending poorly. This is 11 days earlier. Valley of Harthul. Estella was found in a nameless desert. It bore no symbol, but travelers who approached it claimed they no longer remembered why they had come. The scriptorium attempted to compile what could still be salvaged. Soul receptacles were sealed in black lead. Ash rituals were forbidden. Some echo bearers requested voluntary forgetting. They had a glyph of silence etched into their hearts. It is said their graves do not ring when struck, but it was already too late. Some fragments of the broken language had escaped all control. And one day, a sealed grave, entombed for over 2 centuries, began to glow under the moon. A pale light, no inscription, but in the air a phrase lingered. I remember what I should not. And then a few weeks later, year 44, the last day of the month, the Watchers for the first time intervened. Not with words, but not with signs. They turned the stelae. They erased the glyphs. They burned the oldest graves to ash. And most of all, they closed a forgotten scriptorium. It takes centuries to build a silence. A single miswritten name is enough to make it scream. Today only a few fragments remain, scattered. Some cursed books, a few reversed keys. Breaths trapped in urns that even dust refuses to cover. But no name has survived, not even that of the first echo bearer. And that was precisely what the Watchers had hoped for. Some elders, after gathering all forbidden text, discovered one last silent rite. They knelt, a handful of grave dust in hand, near a decorative grave, and waited in silence. Those who had performed the gesture with respect were forgotten by the undead, as long as they did not raise a hand against them. Okay. So it seems like the first 4 bits are mostly going to be lore bits, and then the final one has like a little bit of a hint as to something you can do at the very end. So, oops, not what I meant to do. Wait by a decorative grave with grave dust in our hand with respect. Grave dust, I do have plenty of it. I knew I had it somewhere. So I'm going to assume that's crouching near a grave for long enough, maybe then. Dark marble, strange tablets, dust of frost, right-click to vanish, allows for an easy retreat. Cool. Some of these are new. Some of these weren't in before. Different colored marbles, I think, are new. Book of Scribe can magically create multiple copies of a magic scroll. Right-click on it with an offhand and a scroll to copy in the main hands. Cool. Grave corruption 10%. An Ankh. I know we have an Ankh somewhere, I just need to find it. Enchants an item with soulbound. I don't really need that. Recycling is cool. Grave disabled. So I guess we made and used one of these things, but I guess it no longer works anymore. The impregnated diamond, the book of repairing, disenchantment, misadventure. Pre presages presages unlucky fishing. Okay then. Strengthens with magic and item. Magic impregnation. Is there anything that shows what that does? The strange scroll is used for making various things. Book of Oblivion, reset your perks. Cool. Anyways, let's just go to the... Oh, the grave has a little pumpkin now. That's cute. Grave corruption is currently 0. I'm currently holding a grave dust, and I'm currently approaching a... This is a simple grave. Your knowledge of death increased, +10. You have just unlocked a forgotten knowledge that makes undead consider you one of their own. Beyond the Grave bond has been cast on you. Okay, if you stand on and do that a couple of times. Cool. So, undead will no longer attack us until we attack one of them in turn. Cool. Access to a right that makes the undead consider you one of their own unless you attack them. Okay, sadly we are like forced good because of how many things we have to beat up that are just not friendly. Or just, we'll get rid of those. The enchanted key, I believe, just gives us a key to get our gravestone back, or get something special. Bonus during special holiday season. Let's see. Guardian, we take less damage. That's actually pretty good. Gladiator increases damage. Branch tier not unlocked. That's cool. This has also been upgraded relatively recently. Treasure Seeker increases special items. Branch tier not unlocked. So I would need to get Treasure Seeker. Shadow Walker improves his stealth speed, reduced detection range, can find sleep near... Okay, that's kind of cool. You don't need to care about, oh, there are monsters nearby. Potions just get better. Let's see, what do I actually care about? Books are better, faster casting, improved scrolls. I have 7 points. I have no idea what I want to spend them on. Configuration. You can like change how things look. Save. Let's see, is that on O? What else has changed in here? Like everything looks different now. Die in Tombstone, ghostly shaped grave key. After you appear or death, you receive a grave key. This will allow you to locate your grave. Um, it can be enchanted with soul haunting or bring up mining and ender pearl, allowing you to teleport directly to your grave. That's cool. Um, okay, grave souls, receptacle, magic items, so we can see all those. Oh, I saw some syncing preferences on server. Huh? What just happened? Oh, 15 minutes of this, and it makes the whole screen slightly off color for it. So, not that bad, not that great. Hold on. Death. What was I just looking for? I had seen something that had looked interesting to me. A grave key, magic items, a lollipop. Provide a random elephant is possible to configure the effects that should not be granted in the config. The Halloween event runs from 20th to November 3rd. Grave Guardians exchange special things. They drop from undead and cat morning gifts. Okay, cool. So what about the Grave Guardians? Let's look that up real quick. Um, Magic items, knowledge of undeath, special bonuses, combination. Dying Tombstone, magic items, Guardian, Grave Key is not attached to it, Grave Soul is not attached to it. Decorative Gate, Grave Guardian, here we go. Rarely, a Grave Guardian can appear near a decorative grave when a soul is going to appear. 2.5% as for the blue soul. The Guardian will protect the surroundings from hostile creatures and will offer to trade with players. Okay, that's cool. Um, how do the grave souls work? Some souls are sometimes condemned. These skills can help you by activating the magic of some of your items, freeing them from their eternal destiny. It's possible to find them trapped in the receptacle of soul, and they can provide an enhanced effect to the item. Okay, cool. So this thing has like permanently had like a soul attached to it. Basically, what I want to do is get like a whole array of simple graves, and from there just let them go, and then eventually get a grave guardian, and that's what we're after. Original graves, those look cool. So yeah, I need like a whole graveyard. Anyways, I also want to play this ritual flute. Oh, hold on. Played notes ritual mode. Incorrect melody. Let's see. Do I remember how to do hot cross buns? I don't think I remember. Oh, you can't redo a note? Oh, I'm on the wrong thing. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Dun 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 dun. There we go. I remembered it. Ritual mode, free mode. Dun 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 dun. Hold on. Dun 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 dun. Yeah, I remembered hot cross buns. So we don't know any rituals yet, so that's kind of cool. We'll just hold on to this then. It literally has no other purpose right now. So basically, that's it for the Rite of Silent Bond. We now are immune to undead for a little while, although we do need to beat up a bunch of them if we want lollipops. I guess we're gonna build a graveyard and wait for things to happen. No more chaos fragments just yet. Actually, no, I did make 6. I was at 9 and I was at one of these and one of these because I 10. Cool. It is slowly racking up. So how do I build more of these graves? Where's the simple grave? Am I missing it? A grave key is there. Ritual flute we have. Green marble. Am I missing like a simple grave here? Am I skipping over it? The only one I see is like the original grave. This is a simple grave. Come on. There we go. What was it? Could I just not see it for some reason? These things are super easy. It's just one of the different kinds of marble, which is just as simple as like stone mixed with grave dust. Yeah, grave dust mixed with stone. We have plenty of both, mixed with essence of undeath, and then you can engrave them and all that stuff. I think I still have plenty of essence of undeath too. Oh, excuse me, sorry. Let's see. How much essence of undeath do I have? 25? It's enough for a decently sized graveyard. And I am curious what tablets I have in here. I should probably actually organize this a bit more. Oh yeah, we have this receptacle of familiar baby ender dragon. Right click on a grave cell to bring back to life your familiar. Sure, why not? We have it, might as well use it. And I think these are auto-tamed, and I do want to give it a kiosk just in case. Grave corruption is up to 30. Oh, look at the little baby ender dragon. Kiosk activated. Um, oh, look at it. It's got a cute little bell on it. Oh, this is a baby ender dragon from Living Things. I did make a Living Things guide at one point because I wanted to get a pet owl. Um, Where did I put it? I know I have a Living Things guide somewheres. Did I toss it? I think they're relatively cheap, so I can make a new one if need be, but I'd rather not have to if I can't avoid it. So, let me try and track this down real quick. I know I have it. Aha, I found it, and I actually already found the page on the baby ender dragon. A semi-dangerous animal that has a weakness for chorus fruits. Tamed baby ender dragons will follow you around. They only have 5 hearts, so not much. You tame them with chorus fruits, and you hatch them by placing a dragon egg on top of a purple pillar. So we got one of these things for free, and it's just there looking cute. Sharks, those things just try to eat you. Ancient Blaze, haven't found one of these yet. Can be created with a ritual. Jack-o'-lantern on top of 2 glowstone blocks, so we'll drop a helmet. I mean, maybe Living Things actually has some cool things in it, and I just haven't checked that out much. Anyways, cute little baby ender dragon's now our little friend. Oh, look at it. The bell is adorable. Oh, look at you. Oh, hold on. Oh, I know just the place for you. Come on. You get to hang out with, Tut for now. Wow, you're kind of slow, actually, aren't you? Do I have any free? I don't think I have any free mob imprisonment tools at this point. I still need to make more. Come on, little friend. Wow, you are so slow. Our little friend here is going to join the other dragons eventually. If I can get it to move all the way over there. There we go. That was way more work than it realistically should have been. But there you go, little baby. Tut's gonna keep you good company. If anything bad comes in this into this cave, Draco, Astrid, and Storm don't even really need to do anything. I think Tut can just cover it all. What are you doing over here? You want to come live with the Ender Dragons too? Sure, I guess I'll give you a little nest. But anyways, yeah, I was gonna build a bunch of graves. Oh, we okay, game? 1 second. What? Okay, there we go. I've gone ahead and made 33 dark marble, which just going like so will get us an extra. Oh, they don't stack. We're gonna have 12 simple graves, which is an improvement. These, I don't know where I'm putting this. I don't really have like a graveyard set up now, do I? This does kind of need to be auto-loaded, which kind of limits my options because I'm out of auto chunks. Are we okay, game? We were fine this whole time, and now as we're just about to end off, keep running into problems. Like, I'm completely out of chunks, basically, to auto-load, so this needs to be somewheres in this region. Wait, why is that auto-loaded? Oh, wait, no, that's where the bees are, isn't it? I don't think these need to be auto-loaded. Chunk already loaded. How do I auto-load? Chunk already claimed. How do I auto load it? Force loaded. It doesn't need to be. It's chunk already. Whatever. There we go. Blame all that stuff. Cool. That should probably be auto loaded. That probably doesn't need to. This is. That's the reactor. That obviously needs to be auto loaded. I saved up 4 auto load things. That's an improvement, I guess. Um. Yeah, I guess the best place for a graveyard is going to be up here. I'll just move back and add 1 auto-loaded chunk, I guess. So let me just like flatten this out, deal with some of these. That was loud. Yeah, let me just like clean up the space and make like a small graveyard then. Okay, I have the space cleaned out. Obviously, it's going to need to be made to look better. 4 rows of 4 is probably what I want to set up to. I'll probably upgrade to 16 rather than the 12 I was going to do. Like 1 there. Let's see, line it up where currently lined up on that line, which means it would go here, lined up on here, this block, I think. Yep, right here, lined up like so. I have not spaced this out at all properly. 2 block space there, 2 block space there. Yeah, and then we'll have like a big walkway in the middle. Just go like that, a little bit of separation. And thus we'll have like our own little graveyard just hiding behind here while we'll be doing some darker magics once more. So yeah, I guess once we're done with like this little interlude into tombstones, we will probably go back to occultism. Just because going straight from tombstone death-related magic over to demon summoning again, it sounds pretty fitting. 4 more of these. 1, 2, 3. I need 12. So like so and so gets us these. And simple gravestones, easy enough. That and that. Cool. So now we wait for these things to start getting souls attached to them so we can do magic. And 2.5% chance is what it said. And then we'll get a Grave Guardian and get some trading in. I'll come in. I'll probably put in something like fencing or whatever, make it look a bit better. But I'm probably also going to look up guides for how this works, because, I mean, these are cool lore bits. I do have an empty backpack over here, and we have read everything over here in the rite of conception, not rite of conception, rite of Silent Bond. Rite of Conception is something in an entirely different game, like a mod for an entirely different game. Not entirely sure where that came from. So those all go in there. I think we only need 1 flute and don't even really need either right now. This stuff is now going to get stored in here. I'll probably start moving some stuff over. We did get a reward, and it is more grave dust. So next time, I guess we'll keep reading up on these Elira's diaries this time. I'll look up some of the basics between episodes, though. But for right now, I want to thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed as much as I have, and hope to see you next time. So without further ado, take care, everybody. I want to thank everyone one more time for watching, and a special thank you to the channel members. Yamato Tanagura, Goddess of the Star-Filled Void, and the Phantom Knight. Thank you 3 so much for the extra support. So for real now, take care, everybody.